Okay, we're ready to go here, Dale.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for those that are on the line for joining this today. We wanted to do a series of these to make it easier for everyone to sort of understand the different features that are part of the new BC Business Counts Executive Pulse platform. And today's first session, I believe, is just diving into the digital portfolios, Leif.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. So again, we're going to be doing these every Friday, except for the March 29th one will actually be, I believe, April 3rd. We'll be changing that one. So, so for now, Leif, I'll hand it over to you and get you to tell everybody what's new.
Yeah, thanks, Dale, and I just want to thank all of you for being on the conference today. And we are going to be recording this, so Dale, if you want to distribute this to your members after the fact, that's going to be fine. As Dale indicated, the idea, the spirit and intent of these webinars is really kind of quick delivery of specific contents within this new Executive Pulse 2020 CRM. I'm going to be using a demo site today because it's just easier for me. I'm not disrupting existing data, but this is essentially the framework that all of our clients in Canada and the United States have with the new system. We did release a new system January 27th of this year. All of our clients in North America automatically went to that new system regardless of their level of customization. And I've indicated this before, but I just want to reiterate the goal when we are doing version updates, when we're going from one version to another. And I'm just going to tell those of you that use any sort of software, the last thing that you want to see happen when you're going from one thing to the next is, boy, I feel like I have to relearn all of this now. So the goal here, and really the sweet spot, if you will, of what we're trying to do with this new version, we are really trying to address and alleviate any of those deficiencies that people had with the last version. And there were many deficiencies and pinch points that people had with the last version. At the same time, we want to maintain those features that people like, and we certainly want to maintain the type of interface that we had before. So people that say, hey, you know what, I knew how to navigate the last platform, we want them to feel like, okay, the navigation is relatively similar in this platform. So the balancing act for us is really addressing those issues that were obviously a concern for people or gave people heartburn. We want to address those issues, but at the same time, we want to keep things the same enough that people don't feel like they're being alienated from using the new platform because they simply don't work that way. They haven't historically worked that way. So what we are going to be talking about today we're going to be diving into digital portfolios. And for those of you that are new to the platform or maybe infrequent users, I just want to describe to you first and foremost what a digital portfolio is. Anything in the CRM of consequence, all of you as users, every business that you may have in your respective database, business contacts. We have people that are using this for things like sites and buildings or events or projects. Anything of significance in the CRM will have its own digital file folder, what we call a digital portfolio. Whether you are being intentional about adding data to these digital portfolios or whether you're just working in the CRM without thinking about the consequences of what you're doing, you are leaving digital footprints, you are leaving electronic breadcrumbs, and those things are all being amassed within these digital portfolios. So you're going to be working with a given business. Those transactions will show up in the business's digital portfolio, but they will also cross-pollinate and show up in your digital portfolio. Again, everything has a digital file folder or a portfolio in the system. And the analogy here is for those of you that still have metal filing cabinets and physical files, what we are doing right now, what I've done in the CRM right now is I have logged in and I've gone to the Manila file folder for this fictitious logistics company. I've gone to the file cabinet, I've opened up the file cabinet, I've pulled the file for this Acme Logistics, and that Manila file folder is in front of me right now. And what we're going to talk about over the next 10 minutes or so is we're going to talk about the component parts of these digital file folders, of these portfolios. The concept of digital portfolios has fundamentally not changed from the last version of Executive Pulse to this version of Executive Pulse. What has changed is how we're showing those digital portfolios, the type of functionality that we're offering them. And as I indicated in the very first sessions that we did, the preview sessions on the new versions, we are really intent on eliminating paging, taking you from one page to the next unnecessarily. And we are also intent on not requiring you to click 10, 15 times to get from one place to another in the system. So we have really flattened out these digital portfolios in this new version. So let's dissect what's in front of us right now. At the far left, what you are seeing is the tombstone DNA static name, rank, serial number type of information about the entity that we're looking at. In this case, we're looking at Acme Logistics Company, and I can see that they're an existing business. I can see their physical address. I can see their geographic area generally, their phone number, their website, etc., the NAICS codes. This is the static or more static type of information that we are storing here. For those of you that use the last platform, the very first thing you will notice is this is no longer the predominant focal point of this page, this portfolio page. In the last version, this tombstone information took up arguably 70% of the page. In this new system, we have really relegated this information over to the left-hand side. The other thing you'll notice is the only information that we are showing you is information that has been filled out. So you will not be scrolling vertically through a lot of null or empty fields. To economize the pages, to eliminate vertical scrolling, which is something else we heard a lot about from the last version. Why am I scrolling so much? To be able to do that, we are only showing you the fields that are filled out. Now, I want to mention a couple of other things within this container. All these fields in this new system are live. So if you happen to be using this on a tablet and you have cell or Wi-Fi calling capability and you click on the phone numbers, you will literally be making a call in the system. Through the system, you'll be making that call through the system. If you click on an address option, you will literally be taken to that physical address. So what I'm going to do here is I am literally going to click on this address option and show you what's going on. This takes me to the physical address. I'm not just showing you this map. I'm not just giving you the idea of what this map represents in the system, although this is now a one-click option and you get an idea of how the mapping looks in the platform. More importantly, what I am showing you here is the fact that we are not taking you out of where you are in the system. All you have to do here is click to get right back to where you were before. But again, this is the tombstone or DNA information. If you want to update, do anything with that information, simply click the gear and this shows you, again, this gives me additional functionality, print, map, update, merge, delete, unfollow. You get the idea. Flattened out interface, much more convenient in terms of navigation, adding information, changing information, etc. So this is one of a number of containers or gadgets that exist within the digital file folders within the portfolios. I'm looking at a business, and it only makes sense that the default state when I look at related items are the business contacts. And in this example, I've got two business contacts that exist. I do want to mention, however, that as a user, I have the ability within this related items grid to change what the default items are that I'm looking at. So right now I'm looking at a business, and by default, the system says, well, if he's looking at a business, he probably wants to see the contacts that are related to that business. But I can change what's in this grid to anything I want it to be, not only temporarily, but I can go into my preferences and say, you know what, when I'm looking at business information, what I really want to see are the BR&E visits that we've done historically with this business. Or, you know what, I've added a lot of journal entries or created a lot of work tickets through action items, and I want to see those as the default in this grid. I can do that. I can set up my preferences as a user to really determine whatever I'm looking at, what I want this related items to look like. And again, these are changes that I can make on the fly within one session, or these are changes that I can make using preferences and have them locked in as what I do all the time. But related items in this example shows me the contacts. And I do want to mention that if there's another contact that I have to add here, there would be no reason for me to have to key that information in from scratch. There is a cloning feature that exists when I click on the cog or the gear, and I, again, have two business contacts here. I literally can click on the cog or gear and go to the clone feature and literally clone one of these contacts to create additional employees for this business. So when I have a business that has multiple employees, it makes no sense for me as a user to key in each of those contacts individually. Those contacts are probably sharing the same physical address, the same main phone number, the same website, etc. That information can easily be applied from one contact to the next by using the cloning feature. But again, this illustrates the flattened out interface and how easy it is to add information. This one click allows me to print, map, update, clone, merge, delete, unfollow, unlink. This gives me a lot of additional functionality right from here. But this is one gadget that exists. Again, this is a very pliable gadget. And out of the box, when you are, as a default state, looking at a business, it's going to show you business contacts. And when you're looking at a business contact as a portfolio, it's going to show you the businesses that are related to that contact. That is the default state. But again, I can change this very easily. There's a cog to the right here, and I can literally update my preferences right from here. This is a very easy way for me to change the look and feel of this. We talked initially when we were doing these orientations, these general preview sessions for the new version, about a couple of features that existed in the last version but weren't really well received. They were limitations to those features, and one of those was the comment functionality. And now part and parcel of every portfolio, whether you're looking at a contact, a company, again, a site, a building, whatever it might be, is the stream of consciousness represented by comments. And the idea with this comment widget, this comment gadget in the system, is it's really supposed to show you kind of a threaded discussion about whatever you're looking at. One of the things people told us about the last version is, I want the ability to add information quickly. I'm not always going to be doing full-blown BR&E visits. I may not always want to add full-blown journal entries. How do I quickly add a note? Well, this is how you do it. The comment functionality exists, again, in every portfolio. And what I've done here is I've pulled comments to the top, and I just want to mention that if I right now quit my session, when I log back in tomorrow or Monday, the system is going to say whenever he's looking at business information, business portfolios, he wants comments to be the top item within that portfolio. So the system remembers my preferences simply by me dragging and dropping or closing things. It allows me to do those things very easily. So that feature, again, in addition to related items, in addition to comments, we've got a new file management capability. And the nice thing with file management is it allows me to attach files very much the way you attach files when you're sending an email, an Outlook, or Hotmail, or whatever email platform you may be using. You want to attach files. We give you that same type of functionality here. It's very easy to attach files. It allows me to do this literally with one click. I have the ability to attach files. The bigger issue here from my standpoint and the preliminary feedback that we've been getting from people all over the US and Canada is now I know where the files are going, and I can clearly see the relationships between, in this case, the business that's in front of me and the different files that have been attached to that business. So again, the functionality here is meant to be flattened. It's meant to be more transparent, more easy for people to use. At the very bottom of this page, there is a feature that many of you may not be using, and there may not be reason for you to use it. But if you are in a market or you're in an organization where you have multiple users, Within an organization, you have multiple staff people. Within a given market area, within a community, you may have different organizations that are using this platform. There is nothing wrong with you setting up what would be the equivalent of Google Alerts in the system using this follow feature. This follow feature enables me to pinpoint things in the system that I want to keep on my radar screen. And the best part of the follow feature is it really allows me to, without doing anything other than checking email, knowing when any of my colleagues may be adding data about the things that are of interest to me. And what this follow feature shows you, what this gadget shows you in the portfolio is I'm not the only one that wants to keep this company on my radar screen. I've got a number of colleagues. I've got 5 colleagues, 6 colleagues that are also interested anytime anybody does anything with this entity. So these are respectively where we are with these gadgets right now within the portfolios. Again, to me, the functionality here is pretty straightforward. I can drag and drop things around. I can get rid of these features if they're not of interest to me. If I don't want to see the follow feature, I can simply exit out. I didn't mention to you, but I should, that on any of these features, if I want to expand the view, I simply can click on the enlarge option, and it allows me to work outside of the confines of the portfolio. And again, what we're trying to do with this is when I close it back, I'm right back to where I started from. But again, the idea of the digital portfolios, the takeaway for this morning for all of you, the idea of the digital portfolios is these are really clearinghouses for all information that we are amassing about a given thing in the system. Now, we're going to be doing in the future a webinar on analytics and reports, but I do want to give you a preview of what the analytical capabilities are within these digital file folders, these portfolios. And again, I keep mentioning kind of a compare and contrast. Old version, I'd have to click many times to get to something. In this new version, everything is flattened out. It's much easier to do. It's much more immediate. I want to report on everything we've done with Acme over the last year. Now, certainly within these grids, if I said, hey, I want to see all journal entries we've added or whatever, I can do that from within these related items grids. And this is a nice way for me to look at data. But the better way for me to look at all data about what I'm looking at here, at the top right, there is a new icon. There is a saw and a little measuring tape icon here. If I click on this, it's automatically going to spawn a full-blown report as a PDF. Notice it's branded. It's a profile report today. And this is going to give me a blow-by-blow description of everything that we've done with this business over time. And by the way, here, any of these are hyperlinks that allow me to drill right down on content. So as you're amassing information, again, intentionally or unintentionally in the system, as you're navigating through the platform, you are leaving digital breadcrumbs, you are leaving electronic footprints. Those things are part of these digital portfolios, and getting a full analytic on this company is as simple as clicking on that report. And again, as a compare and contrast, what I just did would have taken me like 6 clicks in the last version, and you can see how easy it is in this version. Where I want to leave this today, what we talked about initially, I said, look, the trick here, the goal of what we were trying to do with the new version is amp up or beef up features like comments and file functionality and the navigation that were deficient in the last version, but we want to keep some of those elements of the old system so people didn't feel like they're completely alienated or starting from scratch. And the way that we do that in the new system, if I want to add related information from within these portfolios, like I'm doing BR&E and I want to add BR&E data, there is a pull down, add related information. And depending on what my preferences are, I will have different options here, but you can see how easy it would be for me to add a retention survey right from within this portfolio. So this is very reminiscent. This navigation is very reminiscent of the last version and how we handled for things in the last version. This is a very easy way for us to get to where we want to go. We're going to talk about the ad option in a future webinar, and that is certainly another way to navigate the platform. But there is nothing wrong with working from within these digital file folders using the ad-related option feature here. And I can do whatever I want to do right from within these digital file folders. So the main takeaways today: digital portfolios are intrinsic. They're everywhere in the CRM system. Any major entity, companies, contacts, groups, you get the idea, events, anything that you happen to be working with in your specific system of consequence has its own digital file folder. We are showing you not only DNA information, but we are showing you related data, comments, file attachments. We're showing you who else is interested in what you're looking at. And looking into 2020, we are going to be adding a lot of new functionality to these portfolios. I think you can see, those of you that used the platform before, these have really been amped up, but we've got a lot of additional plans for these as we move into 2020. Dale, do you have any closing remarks here? Because we are recording this and I want to make sure that we kind of keep it within the time allotment.
No, very informative, Leif. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, everyone, for those that attended. If you're not currently using the system and are interested, please shoot me off an email, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. And we'd love to see you be part of the program. So, Leif, thanks again, and greatly appreciate it. And we can send a link out to the video once we get it to the membership, so that everybody has a chance to watch it again.
Thanks, Dale. Have a great weekend.
Okay. You too, Leif. Thanks. Bye, everybody.